Addition and subtraction of radicals. So we have rules to follow. Whenever we add or subtract anything, we have to have common denominators, or not so much denominators, common terms, right? They have to be like terms. So common denominators is for fractions, like terms is for just any other form. And in this case here, we're going to talk about like radicals. So here's an example. We have a 2 square root of 5. Then we have 5 square root of 5. The roots have to be the same. So if there are square roots, they both have to be square roots. And what's inside, which is called the radicand, also has to be the same. So we would be able to add these two together because of the number, the radicand, the like term behind that 2 is the same as what's behind the 5. So let's do some examples on combining by addition of radicals. Let's do example 1. So to do example 1, I am going to look behind each one of these to make sure that they have the same root and the same thing inside of it, same radicand. And as you could tell right here, on this one here, we don't have the same. So this here cannot be combined with the rest. But I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to put in parentheses 6 plus 4 cube root of 4, because those are the two we can put together, plus the 6 cube root of 5. Again, the radicand is the number inside. In this case, it's 5. Cube root is my radical. It cannot be combined with a cube root of 4. So 6 plus 4 is 10. Cube root of 4 plus 6 cube root of 5, and that is my final answer. So now let's look at example 2. Example 2 has the square root of 7, square root of 7, a cube root of 7. So these first two cannot be combined with the last two. So I'm going to put in parentheses 5 minus 1 because I seem to have a 1 in front of this root, square root of 7, plus the 4 cube root of 7. 5 minus 1 is 4, square root of 7, plus 4 cube root of 7. And that is my final answer. So let's do one that's a little more complicated. So let's look at example 4. So in example 4, I see that I have this square root of 25x. Well, the square root of 25 can be simplified, right? We know that the square root of 25 is 5. And then we have square root of x, and these two are multiplied together. So I'm going to go ahead and square root that out. So I have 2 times 5, square root of x. And then I look at this right here. I have 3 square root of 36, square root of x. The 36 we know can be simplified as 6. Right? And then square root of x. And the last part here, we know the square root of 9 can be simplified, and then got times square root of x. So we know it's 3 square root of x. So always simplify. And now we're going to combine. We're going to say square root of x is the same as the square root of x, square root of x. Since they're all the same, we can go ahead and clean this up. We have 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 3, and it's all multiplied by the square root of x. Now I have 10 minus 8 is negative 8, plus 3 is a negative 5 square root of x, and that is my final answer. So whenever we're putting together like terms, remember, whatever's behind the coefficient has to be identical to or the coefficient, whatever's behind it, has to be identical to whatever's behind the next coefficient. It's like terms. And you would do the same. So let's look at example 5. We have 7 cube root of 32. Well, the cube root of 32 is something times itself 3 times to give me 32. What would that be? Well, we can break that down as we know it's 4 times 8, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and take this over here, and I got 8 cube root of 4, and we only have 2 times 2, and that's not going to give me a pair of 3, so that one's not going to reduce down. But I see that I have 3 2s in 8, so I know that I can rewrite this cube root of 2 cubed times cube root of 4 plus the 8 cube root of 4. And when we follow the rule of power versus rule, if the power and the root are identical, then we're left with the radic and the base. So now that factors out and leaves me with 7 times 2 cube root of 4 plus 8 cube root of 4. And if you'll look, you'll see that these are like terms. They both have a cube root of 4 on them. So I have 7 times 2 is 14 plus 8. And I'm going to put them together because I have a like term. 14 plus 8 is going to be, 14 plus 8. I should have lined it up on my paper. 22. Like to do over here a little side note. Sometimes it helps. It makes it easier if I wrote here on this paper. But that's adding and subtraction of like terms using radicals. Thank you.